Kia ora everybody, and welcome back to Civilization 6. In my last guide, I covered housing, one of the three fundamental things that affects city growth, and ultimately how well your empire does, and your chances of winning the game, alongside food and amenities, which is Civ 6's equivalent of Civ 5's happiness, that will ultimately determine how well you grow, and basically whether you win or lose the game. I'm not even over-exaggerating, like it is just that important. So, let me tell you about amenities. I'm going to tell you about mechanics, I'm going to tell you about how to earn them, what they do, and why they're so important. So, amenities, sorry, you're going to rage at me either way, is a mechanic in Civilization 6 that basically represents the contentment of a city. How happy is your population? It replaces happiness from Civ 5, and it works on a per-city basis, the same way that it did in Civ 4, for those of you who are the real OG fans. So what do amenities look like in practice? Well, let me show you. If I jump into my capital here, you can see there are no warnings about amenities, which probably means it's doing all right. You can see down the bottom here I have +2 amenities. If I toggle city details on the left-hand side, you can see that my city requires 9, and I currently have 11, and that makes them content. There is no positive or negative effect. That'll be the case when if a city has the exact number of amenities it requires, and there are no bonuses or penalties. So, why does this one have the exact amount it requires? Well, basically, your city should have as many amenities as it does population divided by 2. So, if your population is 20, to be content, your city needs 10 amenities. If your population is 10, you need 5 amenities, so on and so forth. But there are other multipliers. Content is both not good enough and also much better than what some other multipliers will offer. Let's jump into this city, which you can see has -2 amenities. So I have a population of 10, which means I need 5 amenities, and I only have 3. Now that's bad. My citizens are displeased. That is the first bad amenities. It's followed by unhappy, unrest, and then if your city has at least 7 fewer amenities than required, it will go into revolt. All non-food yields will decrease by a really significant 60%, and rebels, which are basically barbarians, will appear more frequently and try to overthrow your city, right? But anyway, let's scale that back a bit, and let's just focus on the penalties that you'll probably encounter in a normal playthrough. So here I'm displeased, I'm losing 15% citizen growth and 10% non-food yields, so production, so on and so forth. That's bad. Coupled with a bad housing situation, the growth rate for this city is basically nothing, despite it having a food surplus. If we jump down somewhere else, let's take a look. This city is doing great, right? Because amenities are localized. So if you build local tile improvements, local buildings, most of them, but not all, we'll get to that in a minute, it will impact the happiness, the amenities value of this city, but not really give it to any others, right? So this one's doing great. It's happy. I'm not just content, but I'm actually happy. I have an additional 3 or 4 amenities above what is required, and that'll give me a +10% bonus. There's actually only one condition better than this, and it's if you have 5 additional amenities, where all of the city's yields increase by 20%, which is actually really significant. So don't overlook amenities, friends. Amenities matter. They're so important. This city will flounder, and this city will flourish. And it will purely be the amenities difference. The amenities will make all of the difference. So now that I've told you how they work, what they are, and sort of how to read them and understand them, logically we need to talk about how to get them. So first up, it's resources, right? Luxury resources on the map. They'll usually provide 4 amenities. And due to the way it works in Civ 6, it won't give it to the Empire, but rather each luxury resource provides +1 amenity to up to 4 cities, sometimes 6, but usually up to 4 cities. Multiple copies of a given luxury don't affect more, so you should still trade them away. So, if you have 4 cities and you connect a new luxury say, truffles. You send a worker over, you improve the tile, and you connect truffles. Then your first 4 cities will receive +1 amenities from those truffles. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all of my cities are receiving +1 amenities from those truffles. The more luxury resources you connect, the more happiness you'll get. But because they only provide 4, and the way that it's calculated is 1 amenity for each of your first 4 cities, or closest 4 cities, I should say, then you're going to want to sort of progressively add more and more to your empire, otherwise you will start to flounder. Flounder seems to be my favorite word today. The other way to do it is to artificially create amenities. And the most significant way is through buildings, specifically through the entertainment district. The entertainment district is kind of the amenities district, so to speak. So you place it down just like you'd place an encampment. See, I've gone heavy on the encampments here because my unique unit is Vietnam. But yeah, so basically place down an encampment, and within that encampment you can build certain improvements and certain buildings. And those buildings will provide you with additional amenities. Now, let me focus in on the entertainment complex. This is what an entertainment complex looks like. I actually have 2 already. You place it down just like any other district. In my case, I can only place it on marsh tiles, which is not particularly useful for you. But overall, there's something really important that you need to understand about the entertainment complex. So, it's a district, like any other, and it provides +1 amenity for entertainment. Right, fantastic. Great. But how does it actually work in practice? So, for basic buildings within the entertainment complex, the effect, i.e. the supply of happiness they provide, the amenities they provide, is only local. But with more advanced buildings, they will spread their happiness effect to all city centres that are located within 6 tiles. 9 tiles for water park buildings, but generally 6 tiles. So when you're placing an entertainment complex, you want to think very carefully about how many of your cities, current or future, will be within 6 tiles of it. So let's take this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I build some of the more advanced happiness buildings, some of the later game happiness buildings, they will provide amenities to all of these cities. And that's why clustering the entertainment complex, not necessarily where it gets the best adjacency bonus in the beginning, but rather where in sort of an area where your cities meet, like the middle here, is a great idea. It's a really great idea. Place it down somewhere where the benefits can be shared. So I have this strange city up here, and I'm thinking, how could I connect it now? In this case, it's not possible because they're too far apart, right? So that one was a mistake. These 3 are going to share the entertainment complex, share that additional value that's being created by the entertainment complex, particularly as we move into the later game. There are a few other final ways other than creating happiness through the entertainment district. So one of them is of course wonders. Some wonders will provide you with happiness, amenities. I'm going to use the 2 concepts interchangeably, I'm afraid. You'll see here, if I jump into this city, you can see the Temple of Artemis provides +1 amenity for each camp, pasture, and plantation within 4 tiles of the wonder. So that's great, right? There are others as well, of course. Other buildings, not specific to the entertainment district, but rather wonders. Alhambra provides +2 amenities. The Colosseum, +3 to all cities within 6 tiles. And from Rise and Fall, +2 to all cities within 6 tiles. And various others, Great Bath, Temple of Artemis, so on and so forth. You do have a few other ways, and of course, I wouldn't be doing it justice if I didn't at least consider the civics tree, right? There are a few civics along here. Most notably, the one that springs to mind for me is New Deal, which provides +2 amenities, +4 housing, and -8 gold in the base game, +2 amenities and +4 housing for all districts, for all cities with +3 specialist districts. That is a bit of a mouthful, but it's a really good one to work towards to set up your government with. And in fact, I'd be very surprised if I don't end up with it in the long run. just to increase my amenities. But you can see other ones here that I've adopted. The really basic retainers, +1 amenity for a garrisoned unit. Civil prestige here, again, increased amenity from governors. So there are all sorts you can employ. All cities receive +1 housing and +1 amenity, just base improvements, right the way through to those end game ones like New Deal, automated workforce. And then finally, just to cover off a couple of really quick little things, national parks are a late game improvement that will provide you with happiness. They are newer to the game, and they can be built with naturalists. You also have, of course, some tile improvements that are unique to certain civilizations. And finally, some leader abilities and religious abilities. But I won't delve into them too much because fundamentally, I want you to know that the entertainment complex is your friend. And you want to try and cluster them. And you want to try and build on them. And you should always be connecting additional luxuries to your network. They're the only way to provide more of a global happiness rather than a local happiness, unless you're building those advanced buildings in your entertainment district. And then, as you move through into the later game, you can consider national parks, etc. One final thing before I conclude. What happens when happiness gets really bad? Right? So we talked already about the fact that barbarians could spawn in this city, which is currently displeased and really not growing or doing a good job, right? If that gets worse, then it may revolt. It could change hands. Some bad dudes will definitely spawn. But other things that can happen. So when your nation's been at war for too long, you'll suffer war weariness. Those who played the game from the start will remember just how brutal war weariness was. It was pretty brutal, guys. But it's been toned down a little bit now, so you shouldn't suffer too much. But don't stay at war for too long, though, because it will trip you up. And then I guess the other thing is bankruptcy. So if you do reach a negative treasury with negative cash flow and nothing in the bank, your citizens will grow discontent. Again, it's manifested by a certain amount of negative amenities. Not a huge deal. -1 per 10 negative gold cash flow. So if you're getting negative 10 gold per turn, you'll get -1 amenities across your cities. It's not the end of the world, and at least your city isn't falling into revolt thanks to loyalty, right? Other than that, that concludes my my walkthrough guide, my tips and tutorials for amenities. The changed and revolutionized happiness mechanic in Civilization 6. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you next time.